Hello and welcome everyone again to Shopify Founder Stories. I am here this week with Coco Meer. She is the CEO and co-founder of Equilibria, and I'm so excited to have you, Coco. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Olivia. It's great to be here.
I mean, I want to hear all about because you have such an interesting background of how you got to where you are at the moment, and such an interesting brand in a sector that's got a lot of stuff going on.
Complexity. Yeah, for
A lot of
sure. Yep.
complexity, yeah. So tell me a
I-
little bit about that sort of founder story, that how you got there, how you started Equilibria, how you got to the product, and what made you say, like, what was that trigger that made you say, okay, because I know it started as something that helped you, but what made you say, like, I want to start a company out of this?
A good company. Yeah, awesome. Well, first of all, I have so much heart for CPG and all sorts of consumer beauty, wellness, health brands. That's where I've spent my entire career. So lots of passion for this conversation, and good luck to everybody out there who's giving it the good fight. But I've spent my whole career in health, beauty, and wellness, specifically focused on women. So I grew up within the L'Oreal organization as a brand manager there in New York and then in Paris. And then I founded my first company, which was a beauty tech marketplace in the $70 billion salon and spa booking industry called Pretty Quick, which I exited to a publicly traded technology company in 2015, and then co-led the $1 billion health, beauty, and wellness vertical. I began actively angel investing in other consumer CPG brands, consumer marketplace, and CPG, a little bit of everything on the consumer front, mostly female founders, because I love the early stage. My passion is building. So after a couple of years at the acquirer, I said, okay, it's time for me to get back to building again. I didn't know what I want to do. I have my own angel investment platform. And so I was, hoping to back the plays of other really talented founders. And that's when I reconnected with my now co-founder, Marcy. And I said, hey, you're brilliant. She is. She's a full stack engineer and product designer. And I wanted her to pitch me on her next big idea. And instead, she's like, not doing well. My life has taken a left turn. I was in an accident. I was rendered immobile. Her spine was fused. I mean, she was really in a dark place. Um, and, you know, finally, she said, someone gifted me, this is her talking, a high quality CBD. What is CBD? This was 2018, very, very early. The Farm Bill had just legalized the sale of hemp extracts, hemp flower extracts from industrial hemp plants. So I was very undereducated, but a daily and consistent dose of a high quality CBD changed her life. First of all, it got her off of all of the medications that she was using to manage to the pain medications that she was using to manage post accident. And then as she described it, she said, with a daily and consistent use every single day, I noticed I was feeling more hopeful, more optimistic. Like maybe I could titrate off of some other pharmaceuticals that she was using for mental health. So we got so excited together about the power of full spectrum cannabinoids and what these incredible therapies can do for women who are balancing a tremendous amount in their lives, physiologically, emotionally, psychologically. And that's literally what CBD does, is it just balances out your body from a systemic layer called the endocannabinoid system. So we can get into all of that. But it was very clear from day one when I heard about the power of this plant to help so many women, and the passion and the questions that women have. There's a lot of people out there who are truly feeling out of options from and just supplements that didn't quite go far enough. So they're looking for functional medicine that really works, and that's cannabis. So it was very clear to us this is not an idea that we were going to have. We had we were compelled to pair this high quality ingredient with the education and the support that women need. It's not a one size fits all. My dose and my routine is going to be different than yours and anyone out there. It all depends on what your needs are and the health of your endocannabinoid system. So from the beginning, Equilibria had to be a company that served hundreds of thousands of women because it can do so much good for them. And it had to be premium product paired with personalized service. And that was the beginning.
I love it. And I just have so many questions. It's amazing. It's amazing when you get these female founders, companies for women. Um, how did you decide that that was going to be, okay, we're doing this for women? That was
Yeah.
going to be sort of your positioning, your market. And what was that first product that you guys decided on?
Yeah. Awesome. So let's go back. I promise I won't spend too long in the high school biology classroom, but just bear with me for 30 seconds. So the way that CBD works in your body is it's a molecule, it's a cannabinoid, and there are actually over 100, more than 100 different cannabinoids that come from the hemp flower. Hemp, cannabis, marijuana, they're all the same. They are all cannabis, the genus. And and we have created different industries and categories based on how we're classifying them. But the reality is that humans have been using cannabis for medicine for millennia. And there within the hemp flower or the cannabis flower lies over 100 different cannabinoids, and not just cannabinoids, terpenes, and flavonoids, and just all of these incredible molecules that together, when paired together in an entourage effect, is what it's called, working together, can heal so many different, can address so many different health goals. And why is that? Why can one ingredient help with sleep and with stress and with pain and with just overall mood? It's because of a system in our body called the endocannabinoid system, or the endogenous cannabinoid system. So we always say that cannabis augments, not alters, which means it's working in the way that your body was always designed to work. So this system that's just always there in your body, that doctors are only now learning about in medical school, called the endocannabinoid system. It's my favorite system in the human body. We have this awesome interaction checker on our site, our receptor checker on the site, so you can go check out how it works. But you have these receptors all over your body, in your brain, in your uterus, in your skin, in your gut, and they're all over. And these receptors throughout your body, when your endocannabinoid system is working properly, they are emitting little signals to your brain to even out, to regulate, to find homeostasis. And when your endocannabinoid system is not working properly, your body is finds it harder to regulate itself, to balance itself. And this system sits below and powers all of the other systems. So think about your sleep wake cycle. Think about your response to flight or fight, to panic, everyday mood, everyday stressors. What happens is, as we age and experience, I mean, our bodies were not designed to live in this. We were designed for flight or fight. We weren't designed to just, like, every single minute there's your phone, you're stuck in traffic, you're gonna be late, there's your Zoom is popping up, you have 100 notifications. Like, modern life is very stressful, especially for women who are stretched thin and have so many different roles that they are carrying in their own lives. So the endocannabinoid system is in need of support because we have so much stress, and almost no one's endocannabinoid system is functioning as it should. So what we do with phytocannabinoids that come from the flower of the cannabis plant is we augment, or we support, that system, so that as we age and as we experience more stress, our body is able to balance just as well as it always was. So whether it's pain, hormone balance, stress response, sleep wake cycle, circadian rhythms, healthy microbiome, you name the system, our endocannabinoid system touches it and helps it balance. And why women? Because name one woman that you know that's only balancing one thing. Women are, are so inspiring because we wear all of these different hats in our own lives. Our bodies are constantly out of balance, with monthly cycles for those of us who are menstruating. And then we go through major life changes when we experience perimenopause and then menopause. And just generally speaking, we are often seeking balance, but not in balance. And so when we think of a physiological system like the endocannabinoid system that can give women this like superpower to just be even, be regulated, and be balanced, we knew that we had just such a massive opportunity here, and we had to share it with all of the women that we know. And
Absolutely. It makes so much sense. Absolutely. I think we're always on a cycle that's, our hormones are changing, everything's changing. And
hormones are up and down, stress levels are up and down. The one thing we know is that a woman's life is never constant. And so her
yeah,
wellness routines need to evolve with her.
absolutely.
When you're stressed at work, you then have no time to transition. You come home, maybe you have a family that you're supporting there. You're constantly stretched and you're in and out of, being on kind of all of the time. So we
Absolutely.
need support and we need to acknowledge that. It's okay to not be okay. Name one woman that feels like she's got it all perfectly. No one.
No.
Balance this is not about perfection. This is just about regulating and centering. And that's physiologically what the cannabis plant was meant to do in our bodies.
So I guess speaking of sort of changes and regulating, you went from a background in sort of beauty and wellness, which are still in sort of this health and wellness side of things. But how did going from something like beauty to a product that is heavily regulated and complicated to work with, um, how would you say that
Yeah.
change was, and maybe what would you say you had in your playbook from before that you had to completely throw out in this new sort of industry and just work with all
Great.
over again?
Great question. Great question. Yeah. Love the wordplay. I see you. Um, regulation. It's so I mean, first of all, let me just be very crystal clear that the hemp industry again faces tremendous regulatory pressure with the window for full spectrum cannabinoids, which do include the federally legal acceptable dose of low concentrated THC. THC is extremely important in full spectrum CBD products because it acts as the key that helps that CBD bind to the receptor and that endocannabinoid system to work properly. And so what was really, really important about the legislation in the Farm Bill passed in 2018 was that it legalized the sale of full spectrum CBD, inclusive of low amounts of THC, when the plant itself was also low dose, was industrial hemp and not characterized as marijuana, which is of course sold through a much more rigorous, federally illegal state regulated program. So just the regulatory construct through which we have been operating for the past 7.5 years is federally legal, and it's so important that we have legalized and made accessible these low dose wellness products with very small amounts of THC to hundreds of thousands of women who desperately need it. Our customers are perimenopausal parents and professionals just like me who are really stretched thin, who rely on this medicine to support their mental health and their physical health. Our customers are grandmothers who, for the first time, because of their pain relief from us with no side effects, are able to get on the ground and play with their grandkids again. So it's just so critical that there's so many constructive vehicles that are moving through the congressional process right now here in the US that will shut down the hemp ban and allow this industry to be regulated. We need regulation. Equilibria, from day one, we were owners in our own vertically integrated organic hemp farm in Colorado. I mean, we are staunch advocates for regulation, age gating, child resistant packaging, proper, packaging warnings, which we've always had. We've always had COAs. We've always brought best in class practices to Equilibria, but there are bad actors who should be held accountable and who also need to comply with the best practices that we've had since day one. So given that, I think the fact that we've existed in this regulatory environment has made me, um, just such a passionate advocate for the category to continue. I mean, does it make sense? It makes absolutely no sense that we would like fence off this plant and say, no, it can only be there. It can only be there when used safely. Um, this when used safely and appropriately, um, and at low doses like this, I mean, you think about alcohol, we are so there's just alcohol is like the Surgeon General here in the US has said this is poison and there should be poison warnings on the alcohol bottles, and there's so many side effects that can come from the pharmaceutical industry. And so, relatively speaking, hemp is such a safe and effective modality for therapeutic healing. And I just think that, the regulatory landscape, I really am hopeful that we can be a part in helping this very important low dose hemp derived THC and CBD, full spectrum CBD category persist. I'm delighted that hemp is now in the Medicare program here in the US. There was an executive order back in December which mandated that full spectrum CBD enter Medicare, and we worked towards a path where all seniors would have a reimbursement for cannabinoids. Again, every senior should be taking a healthy dose of full spectrum cannabinoid every day because of what it does for inflammation, for pain, for overall sleep. There's just so many rising tide benefits that come with this functional medicine. So, given all of that, we've existed in a regulatory environment that hasn't had regulation, and we need that regulation. So we tried to be the ones who could model what safe and effective use looks like. And again, hopeful that there'll be a path after November for us to continue to sell low dose THC, a very, very healthy alcohol alternative that our women are clamoring for because they're seeking for a wine swap. They're seeking a wine swap, and they're so grateful for these low dose THC beverage additives that we have in our Tipsy line, as well as just the overall, wellness benefits that come from our nutraceutical line. But so I mentioned working in a regulated environment, number one, hold yourself to the highest standard possible. If a regulatory body doesn't set the rules for you, set the rules for yourself. So again, we've always had, third-party lab tested ingredients, tested panels on our website. We have, from the beginning, in the very early parts of the industry, we didn't trust to just, white label any product and purchase them from any supplier that we didn't know. And so we bought in to an incredible hemp farm in Colorado. We had our own genetics facility from actual seed all the way to the finished goods. We had chain of custody the entire way. Our supply chain has evolved a little bit as the industry has matured, but we are still incredibly close to our supply chain and only work with best in class, highest quality, most premium hemp purveyors out there. And we are still working with, processors, the extractors, and the formulators all the way through to make sure that we just have, the number one cannabinoid product on the market. So hold yourself to the highest standard. Number one, and be very transparent and clear about your ingredients and your supply chain, because daily and consistent use is critical. You have to take CBD every day to feel it, to really feel those prophylactic benefits. And if you're going to put something in your body every day, you need to understand that it's clean. Hemp is a mitigant. It's used to clear fields. So, you've got to make sure there are no heavy metals. Like, do the research. We always say, look at the COAs. We educate our members on how to read them. So the certificate of analysis. So we've tried to hold ourselves to the highest standards, number one. Number two, coming from beauty and now working in hemp, beauty is all about claims. How, what percent are you going to reduce your wrinkles? What percentage of women saw what benefit, structure function claims. There is not an organization large enough within the hemp sector to do big clinical trials within hemp. Also, given the federally illegal status currently, although marijuana is going through a rescheduling process now, which would allow for more clinical research of marijuana itself, specifically in the medical forum, which is really, really exciting. So, we're moving into a phase when we look at the kind of the medical mainstream and the federal landscape behind cannabinoids, that's really promising, and we really hope that more research will be able to come. But for now, because the FDA has not regulated, despite the fact that this is a federally legal product, so long as you're below zero point 0.3 THC, we stay away from claims. Full stop. So we can't play the claims game. But believe me, the member stories that we receive and her words, I mean, every single day, because we pair all of our members with a dosage specialist who's just checking in on you. Olivia, how's it going? What are you feeling? Are you feeling any benefit? And by the way, if not, we work on your dosage, we change your routine. But so we hear all of these amazing stories, but we just don't translate them into marketing claims that we put on our website. We keep it, all about verbatims and all about, what's really happening in the body and how it works, not the disease state or the health state that the ingredient is addressing. What else? Channel. I mean, Meta requires certain clicks. We've got to be at least 2 clicks away from a landing page all the way to checkout. They have, we're hopeful. We've got lots of friends at the Meta organization. We hope that, again, with federal legislation clarifying a path for hemp, fingers crossed, this could bode really well actually for channel marketing. But all of our landing pages are scrubbed of any cannabinoid language. We're very clear to speak about our product as hemp, which it is. But Meta just likes to see certain words and not others. And early on, the fact that we were working in a regulatory challenging space forced us to be really to invest in our influencer partners. Influencer marketing has always been a critical part of Equilibria because we help women and we have so many great creators in our network who are women, who are our customers, who are supporting their families, their careers, their communities. And so we're such a powerful tool for her. And she shares that story with her community. And it's just this beautiful, beautiful cycle of women helping women, helping women. So anyway, the fact that we were not able to only rely on paid ads kind of forced us. Sometimes necessity is the mother of invention. We all know that as founders. And for us, it was incredible to unlock the power of the influencer channel and decide that that's where we were going to invest very, very early on. And thanks to so many of our, thousands of creator partners out there, we were able to scale incredibly quickly.
That's amazing. I'm so happy you mentioned channels and you mentioned a bit about, education and members. So, once you get a customer from those initial channels onto your website, maybe your initial PDP, and they're interested and they want to buy, you have your, first time buyer. How do they become members? You mentioned that word. Like, what does your subscription plan look like? Do you have a subscription plan? How do you get them to return? And then education, I'm assuming that's got a really, really big influence for you guys. How are you educating your customers so that they feel comfortable to buy that product, to understand what the routine's going to be, and to continue purchasing, if you will?
Love it. Love it. Well, we are really excited to be a Smartrr customer, and we've worked with them since we replatformed from WooCommerce over to Shopify in 2024, actually before they were acquired by Relay Commerce. So really deep strategic alignment with the original Smartrr team, and that's carried through to the team at Relay. We wake up every day to serve our members. And when I say members, I actually mean both non-subscribers as well as subscribers, but the vast majority of our members are subscribers. And why is that? Because CBD has to be taken daily to change your life. And that's what it does. You take it every day and you just feel more even, more regulated, more in control, more graceful with yourself, less pain. You're just, those peaks and valleys go from this do this. So it is the reason everybody is a member at Equilibria is because when we meet that first customer, our goal is to educate her and to empower her to make the choice, not by some like, cheesy subscription promo offer. This isn't about, a commercial play. This is about changing her life. This is about mission. And the way that cannabis works in the body is that endocannabinoid system that I was talking about earlier. It has to be supported every single day. And so when we are lucky enough to meet a member through one of these channels, we pair every single member, whether they're a subscriber or not, with a dosage specialist. These are credentialed experts in cannabis. They've gone through, they come from the industry. They are certified cannabis pharmacists. They have their master's degree in cannabis science. They are, real experts. We've also, taken every single one of them through our own cannabinoid training, talking about supply chain, talking about the physiology of the endocannabinoid system. Like they're experts, and they introduce themselves and they reach out. And so we have a flow that all customers go into where they're introduced to Maya or to Althea or to Kate or anybody else on the team as their personal dosage specialist. We find that when our members listen, we know everyone's busy, even just a chat or an email, but we also offer phone consultations. And when our members take the time to have a phone consultation with our dosage specialist, they are with us for 4 times as long because they understand that this is not a flash in the pan, reactive solution. This is a proactive solution that they take every day, not to get rid of the headache, but to try to avoid that headache altogether. Just as an example. So yeah, education. Like we meet a member from a channel, and we let her know that we are there to support her every single step of the way. Should she be using a sublingual, a tincture? Should she be using one of our quick absorbing melts? Should she be using a daily soft gel, which goes through the digestive system and works a little bit more like a slow release modality? Should she be using a topical? What about a patch? We have so many different forms and formats and doses, and no one's endocannabinoid system is the same. Everybody needs a personalized routine. So if you are not feeling life-changing benefits from our full spectrum CBD, we will work with you to make sure that you are. And that's just enough. So we introduce all of our members to their dosage specialists, and our graduation efforts are incredibly successful because people understand, oh yeah, I got to take this every day. And then our subscription offering is 20% lower than the normal price point. And we also always have free shipping for our subscribers. They're the first to learn about any of our new launches. I mean, they're really a community. They share with each other what's going on for them. We have an active Facebook group just for our subscribers. So it really is, once you become a member, you're like, oh, that just makes sense. And, our subscribers they stayed with us for years. So we're so grateful to, Smartrr and the broader Relay family for supporting that functionality. Because it's who we are. It's why we wake up every morning. And we have these incredible members who are they're part of our mission. Like we exist every morning to hear her story. And again, if it's a story of transformation, we've done our job. If it's not a story of transformation, then we just know exactly what we need to do, and it works every single time. We support her, we personalize her routine. She realizes she needs to subscribe through the education, and now 80% of our revenue is subscription recurring revenue.
Wow.
I think you're muted.
That's better, right? Okay.
Perfect.
That's 80%.
Yeah.
That's an amazing retention number. And with all of the sort of education and sort of personalized health coaching efforts, I can only imagine that 80% is exactly where it needs to be. So other than this sort of amazing education program and stuff, let's talk about let's see how relevant this is for you guys and for the industry and the vertical you're in. But we've got BFCM coming up. I imagine it's a big opportunity not only to introduce new customers, via those influencer channels, probably maybe some outbound email marketing. I'm not sure what channels you guys are thinking you're going to be using, and what are you guys interested in changing up this year? What are you looking into for BFCM? Tell me a little bit about your strategies.
Week, baby. Christmas in July, except for it's August. So yeah, we have got a great plan in place. We are really excited about the traction that our Tipsy line has found in market. So Tipsy is our low dose THC, more THC forward line. We have beverage enhancers, both snaps and drops, and then we also have a THC gummy called Elevate, and 3 amazing flavors. So we're going to be leaning into the moments that matter and microdosing those moments this holiday season. So we have a really fun limited edition collection coming for the so we've got some product development work and some limited edition products that our members love, because they are on these daily and consistent routines with us, and you really need to have the sleep and the stress and the pain benefits. You need to take your CBD every single day. So that is a little less relevant for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. We always have a really exciting member gifting program where people are coming and they're buying memberships and they're gifting them to others. So we will continue to lean into the daily and consistent, wellness side, but this is a more fun time. We try to make it easy for giftability and for people to it's a little harder to gift wellness products that are personalized to someone else outside of a gift certificate for a subscription. So that's where we lean into our more festive, more about, microdosing that moment, not just the party moment, but also the stress moment. Magic making is really hard. And so kind of elevating the everyday and leaning into those THC products through limited edition collections is where we will be this holiday season. We can't wait for all of you to come join us. And then the other thing that is highly giftable are our minis. So we have both for topical pain as well as for some of those more rapid release calming products. We have a number of minis that we'll be re-releasing to the community. They were very, very popular years ago, and so we're bringing them back with just some really great merch and a highly giftable format. So yeah, super excited about Peak this year. It's a really important one for the hemp industry. Because again, those are our critical days to make sure that this industry stays safe but accessible for hundreds and thousands and millions of women out there who really need the support.
Hi, I love it. And I love that you mentioned this sort of giftability idea, because it's like, okay, yeah, acquisition is usually a goal in BFCM, but we need to recognize that probably most of the people who are going to be buying were members of
Existing customers,
existing
yeah.
customers. So it's a very good.
Share with it. Yeah, so we really try to encourage that as much as possible. And, she'll stock up for herself too, which we love. So again, for us, with a subscription business, it's not about pausing your daily routine. You got to stay consistent with your routine more than ever, actually, in these like very stressful, holiday times, where our members are often relied on, again, to make the magic for everyone else in their life. Travel's disruptive, gift giving, it's expensive. I mean, there's a lot going on in life in the holiday time where our women really just need to boost their routines and really need to feel extra support. But yeah, like beyond the daily support, which is table stakes, let's have some fun and share.
I absolutely love it. This is great. I think that I probably took up enough of your time so far, and this has been amazing. We've got so many good things that we can share with other founders, and I really, really appreciate you being here with us. And
Thank you for having me.
yeah, of
Again, the
course.
relay ecosystem has what every founder needs in every single step of the channel, from analytics to retention, some great, cart upsell, just lots of awesome tools to explore. So happy to be a part of it.
Thanks so much, Coco.